Well, hello and welcome to all of you crafters, friends, subscribers, visitors. This is Jurgita and welcome to my crafty channel. And today is already September 1st. So first of all, I want to say congratulations and uh, hope you'll have a good school year to those people in the countries that start the school year on September 1st. I hope if you're a teacher that you'll have enough patience to deal with all of the students and their teachings. And if you're a student, that your school that will be interesting and you'll learn a lot. So let's see, now September 1st. So as of lately, my beginning of the month project is this Chatelaine piece. It's called Ostsee or Baltic Sea Mandala. And I'm trying to stitch once a month for some days. And what you see in front of you is all I've stitched up to this point, which is about 36.2%. So this involves regular crosses with the DMC, with the silks. There's like a Krynic and Rainbow Gallery metallic threads. There's like a back stitching, lots of types of specialty stitches. And when it's all done with the main stitching, I'll be adding all kinds of beads and treasures, etc. So it's going to be very nice and sparkly. And I hope you can see some of the sparkle when I try to like move the light a little bit. And I'm just gonna be continuing filling out all of in here where I can. So once I'm done with this part, so I could then roll up and move all the way to the top. So even the middle part is not fully done. There's still some specialty stitches gonna be involved, and some petite stitches will need to be done. So there's like a crab will have to be done in different parts, etc. So I don't know where I'm gonna be working. It's just gonna be probably scattered throughout this area, big area, and hopefully you'll be able to tell a difference between now and later once I stop stitching on this piece. And I always try to keep it on the places where I'm not stitching covered up with this. I have a couple like a pillowcases, and I use magnet to hold it from the top and the bottom, so I don't try to mess up accidentally on the fabric, because some of the threads say they're not color fast, and I don't want to mess it up enough that I would have to wash it. So let's see again what part I'm gonna be stitching from, and then we'll see what it's gonna look like later on, where I'm gonna be stopping for the month. So here it is, and we'll see. Well, also before I show you what I'll have done on my Baltic Sea Mandala, we're about to leave like a tomorrow, pack bags and take one of my kids halfway across the country to East Coast to move into the like university, and I'm gonna be bringing this piece with me. It's a Suffrage Act. If you remember, I started this in July to celebrate my citizenship naturalization swearing ceremony, and this is what I have so far. Like a left side is done in here, and I have a next area ready to stitch. So I think I'm gonna take this piece with me to stitch in the car if I'm able, because we'll be driving two cars and we're going to be switching. It's almost just a little bit under 1,000 miles, I think, to drive. Maybe like 16 hours straight drive, but we'll be splitting that, and also we'll have to go back in one car. So this is what I picked to go on my field trip long trip. So we'll see also how much I'll be able to stitch this, and I probably will be filling this one in throughout the month too. But this is where I'm starting the month of September. So for this first layer of water, it says use 1 to 2 dense rows, which is this one. So just start from one corner and go this way. And it looks here, I started from that and just went that way and finished at this point. Now for this one, I did the full X, 1 2 3 4, then middle 1 over, I did 1 over and 1 less, and then I did over 1 this corner, that and that, and the similar thing here, full X, edges, and then it was just over the X this little plus. So I figured before I forget, I should show you how the main giant special Jessica stitch looks like according to Martina's drawings. So overall, I had to stick a needle 64 times. So the last, like 1, 2, and etc. So 64 was the last stick. And I used like a 1 full meter length, and this is all that's left. So if you use my hand, I don't know, maybe about 9 inches left of the whole meter. So it's true that you have to use very long thread, but it was stitched with 1. So main body of my first crab piece is done in here, and there's gonna be one up here and one on the side, and when I have to roll this whole thing over towards the bottom, that's one more crab is gonna be waiting. But this is special Jessica on the crab for this Baltic Sea Mandala that she did. Just wanted to show you like a more up close, and I'll continue working. And can you see the difference where I stitch and what I've done? I'm hoping you can see, because I was jumping all over the whole area when I had a certain color or a certain stitch. So let's see if you noticed from a whole picture. And the main thing was I finished all 3 crabs, so those specialty Jessica stitches right here, and I filled in the extra one more set of legs, and then did all outlining, back stitching all around, because it was with the same color as those one pair of legs. And then those little flowers that are the straight stitches stitched with the silk, so they popped out all around this middle section. And then just was filling in, let's say, I think it was the water. All of these were filling up on the different areas, and they have several different types of specialty stitches. So some were very simple, some were more complicated, like this is more complicated than that one version, kind of. And I think it just gives a little bit more depth in it. Started filling in this area, what they call caboose, those changing um, cabins, I guess. And the same was in here, and worked a little bit on those little birds with the petite cross stitch. So overall, just been like flying everywhere in the whole area that I could work on. And I have right now approximately in this almost 12,000 left. That would include the beads and the specialty stitches and back stitching, because like this building is not fully done yet. There's going to be more white thread used and the black and a little bit more. Of course, the little sailing ships and the lighthouse need to be filled in. So I'm slowly climbing up like that, and we'll have to continue next time. But I was happy to reach 40%. And though 5% is just over 5,500 stitches, I don't know if I would be able to do it every month. But if I work even 3% or 4 each month, so I figured by the end of 2027, maybe I'll be done, because beading for me and the backstitching takes a bit more time. I'm a little bit more careful how I put the needle through, and slowly this is still growing. So I'm very happy that it's my monthly project. So there's going to be more to come each month. So I hope you love watching this piece grow. And the one project that I took with me, and it's Suffrage, to the trip to New York State, about an hour and a half, I think, from like Manhattan, New York. When we traveled, I was very curious how the whole campus, how the whole area looks like. Well, me and my sister-in-law had about like an hour and a half free time between when we finished touring the campus and when we had to come back for like a parent orientation. So there was actually very small, very cute shop in Hyde Park, New York, and we went in there and we hit payload, so to speak. Was very happy to manage to stop there. I would needed like 3 more hours at least to look through all the stuff. I spent majority of the time in like one room, because there's like a small rooms with different things, and maybe I'll do separate video with little tour of that shop, and when we drove through the Hyde Park, and what I got in there. The shop did not have any website, and the owner was very nice, very helpful. So we had a wonderful time there, got great stuff. Like I said, I didn't have enough time to even look. I would have gotten way more, I'm sure. But what I got, I think I just was so excited when I saw, practically was jumping up and down. But you'll see that hopefully in the second video. And maybe I'll also do the little tour video of the campus of the CIA, Culinary Institute of Arts. And I know that on the 17th of September on the Netflix is airing first season of like a, I don't know what's it called, like a next ship or something like that. That was filmed last summer in that same campus. So when I was caught a glimpse of like advertising, it's like I just went there. I just walked through the hall and whatnot. Beautiful, beautiful whole campus, and maybe I'll also include little glimpses of that. And the whole welcoming group there for moving in was amazing. Everything went like through butter, which fun pun, I guess, since they're cooking school, world known. And so I'll probably put a little bit of that trip over in probably a different video. So anyway, had a good time, and on the way there we took two cars, because my kid was taking a separate car to leave it there for usage, and my husband, me, and my sister-in-law traveled together. So we split the first leg of a trip part way. So we spent the night in one hotel on the way, and on the way back, three of us went in one car, and we hit a 16-hour trip all at once in one day. So we were so exhausted. Literally came back in the house, grabbed just necessary stuff that could go bad, or we needed like a toiletries, and I just like fell face first into the bed and passed out literally like within a minute probably. So yeah, it's very weird when a child moves out. So we have only one left at home right now. Plus now I'm in charge of a dog 24/7 since my son used to take care of him part way. So now it's always on me to take him out for runs and walks, etc. So it might cut a little bit into my stitching, but I think hopefully not too much because I can't live without this, my needlework, embroideries, and I'll still be stitching on this. So I think that's it for now. Let's look what I'm gonna grab next. And I think that I'm gonna grab my Mirabilia Touching the Autumn Sky out of print pattern. And last month I did almost 4,000 stitches in this and about just over 3,000 I think left. So it means that it's 3/4 of the project all done. And what's left is mainly like a lower portion right here. And there's going to be finishing the shoe and the part of the skirt in there. And then a little bit back stitching more and beading will be left to do. So we'll see how long. Maybe I'll even be able to finish it, go to the end with this piece. It's very easy to stitch on this, even though it's a sparkly fabric. It's a 28 count chase cape opal lugana by Silk Weaver. And I've done everything from the top stitch wise and back stitching to this area. So I'm just gonna roll down. There's a little bit left in here, I think. I'm gonna roll down and try to work more on this, and then I'll come back to you with either some update when I'm ready to stop, or maybe go all the way to the finish. We'll see how I feel. I'm not gonna force myself to stitch this because it's a relaxation on this big count of fabric compared to like 24, 25, and 40 counts. So this is where I want to work on that, even though it was not on my plans to do it this year, but it should be finished by the end of the year at least. So here where I am, and you'll see in a second where I will be getting into. And the main stitching is all done, and I finished also the back stitching, which was not in a lot of places, so that's was easy, just a little bit in here on those like ends of leaves, and a little bit connect like a darker spots here and outline in this. So what I have left is one type of beads, and it should be about 137 beads to be attached to the whole piece. So of course I'm going to be working in this area first, and then I'll carefully unroll it and then finish up the top part. So we'll see final result, final finish very soon. And another Mirabilia is finished with all the stitching and beading and cross stitches. So it took me, when I looked at the program, 16 days to stitch within certain period of time, because I started this piece on April of 2024. So just over a year period, it took me 16 days total to stitch. And again, this is 28 count Chase Cape Opal Lugana by Silk Weaver, or Chesaca Cape, or something like that name. The pattern itself is 179 by 168. And in total is, with counting the little bit back stitching and the beads and a little bit of a cord stitches it had. So total it's about 11,367 stitches or cross stitches. So I'll show you a little bit up close in a few seconds, but it had about 137 beads, and it needed just this one color, 62041. So I opened the brand new package, and as you can see, it's still plenty left. And it's just had just a couple like a blends. I think it was 7 blends only, and some of them you can see way more clearly that there are blends because they're more different, like a spheres of the color, like a very very light purplish, and like a stronger purplish would be, or like very light brown and this very dark brown. And let's see, what else I could tell you about this piece. Like I said, it was very easy to stitch, and instead of 32 count suggested fabric, I picked 28, and I really love how my stitches were laying on that. Of course, because it did not have a lot of the beads, that especially if they go in a row, so 32 would have been fine too for that, but I wanted, and plus I had this fabric that I thought it looks like the sky, so you know, sky and the clouds, so I did that. Of course, there's as you can see, a lot of beads are just scattered throughout empty spots here, and there are a couple leaves also, so I had to I think a couple of those leaves I did approximate counting and started in there because you would never know where it's supposed to be. And the I actually also signed in here. I used, in case you would want to, I used the DMC 743, which was similar to like a part of the leaves. And when I was trying to figure out where should I put like my initials and the year, then I thought maybe around in here, and that's what I did. So at first you have to look for it to be able to see. So like a little bit in here, a little bit in there, kind of blends in more, and that was my purpose to do it. I wanted specifically so it would not pop out like with the browns, so I just found something with the yellow color. And I also used the same thread this time to attach all the beads, 743, because it was like a close enough with the bead color that I thought it would work well. And I tried this versus like a Eli thread, that invisible thread, and I think it turned out well. Like can you even tell, especially in here, that it was used with the thread or not? I like that these beads have sort of like a matte inside and clear, more outward color, but that's where it is. And very very happy that I've done it, and I'll see if I just took to my stitch group to show. That's why it's a little bit wrinkled and not everybody was there. So if nobody in the group wants to stitch this after me, maybe I'll put this as like an online raffle to win on this channel. We'll see how it's gonna go. But that's another Mirabilia is crossed off of my long Mirabilia list. And next year I'll be picking up something else, because this year I don't want to start anything new, just concentrating on finishing some projects. So that's all it is for the Mirabilia touching the autumn sky. this piece I was stitching on my trip to New York State, if you remember. And what else can I say? I continued stitching this at my stitchy groups when we were meeting together. And I have like 99.8% done because I have about 50 stitches left to do letter D in here. And I actually ran out of thread, and it would have been fine if I knew like about 2 days ago, because I just placed an order um, to get some stitches supplies, specialty threads, and I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna just order one thread and just get that shipped, because when the skein never travels by itself. So I'm gonna have to put this aside and wait until sometime next time. Maybe within a month, I'll be able to get the thread with something else and finish off this piece, unless somebody in my group has a thread to finish off. But this is what it looks like right now, and like I said, it's practically all the way done. Well, I thought that since I've been stitching for on a 32 count, and the 28 before, I might as well just try at least a little bit to go on a bigger count. And this is 40 count silk gauze, first berries in a collection of mine. And I'm doing right now this part berry, and the medallion is going to be done with this big X done. So right now what I have left, as you can see, just filling up all the blank spots, because you can see everything right through. And what I love about silgos is giant holes, versus if you take like a 40 count linen, then of course you wouldn't see holes that big. So I'm just need to finish up the surrounding area, and that takes a while, because even though it's that tiny, there's lots of stitches to do, and I'm doing that in a half stitch, all of that. And this piece has, as you can see, like a full axis and some specialty stitches done, and it's all very tiny, and mostly it's various thread colors, so like gentle arts, weeks dye works, threads, and just a little bit DMC is being used in both parts. So I thought I might as well just stitch a little bit more on this piece, and maybe for a day or so, and we'll see how much I can push. And all the stitching is done, although it looks color-wise slightly different in here, but I'm sure this might have been maybe even more like bleached out to color, or it was thread, a background thread like this. But let's look a little bit closer. So finished up all of this in those few days, and even managed to put in, although it's kind of harder to see the year, I'm hoping we'll be able to see. And then there was just a tiny bit of a backstitching needed to be done on this little cutie, like a couple half stitches for the eyes, and of course the, oh, what do you call that? Antennas and legs for this cute little lobster, itty bitty lobster. So what will be next? Although her one eye looks weird, but unless you really zoom in, you can't see any of those tiny details. And you can compare how tiny it is, like with my scissors. So just that size. And now I'm gonna have to carefully cut around, follow the instructions, and sew it together by using like a, what do you call that, like a biscornu stitching. So I need to make sure that sides line up. There's no empty silk gauze able to see, and then I'll need to figure out what type of things I want to put like in here on the top. She wrote down what she was using for this, but I don't know what exactly I'm gonna use. So right now, just have to carefully cut out, and maybe for the next berry, I'll be able to use the same area in here. Of course, there's still medallion left, but this year's goal was to finish stitching this piece. And yes, it took me a long time to stitch it because it's in this area over 40 count full coverage. So I'm very happy another thing is done, and we'll see what it looks like later on, all FFO'd. And the berry is all sewed up and gathered. The only thing is left to figure out how I wanna cover this part. So it's all stuffed, and it could be my squishy too. Hard part was getting this filled in. I was using that premium, what do you call, polyfill, and it was having a harder time to go in here. And I made sure that I sewed in according to instructions, so no plain gauze would be seen. I'll need to kind of move around a little bit more the stuffing in here right before I put in the topper. But it's all done in here, and I'm so happy. My very first berry collected together and stuffed, and it could be practically ready for display. And I even managed to get the year in there. It in instructions it was told that we don't need to go very pointy on the bottom, so that's what I did. I used partially this little attachment that I have next to me all the time to stuff it in, and so it's gathered up with just a regular thread. I used double of it, so two threads together, and I think it's holding pretty well in here. Gathered up and secured it in the end. So my berry is done, and somehow it's really trying to show you way darker than it is. So until I gather up some fabrics and what I want to do for the top, this is what it will look like for meanwhile. And I finished. So again, I was using this Gutermann, totally like invisible thread that looks like a brownish grayish color, but it's just you can barely see, like a piece of hair. And then with this ribbon, I just started from one side and just started sewing in. At first I thought I should be pinning, in this like a certain spots halfway, this and that. But when I started sewing up, I noticed that I'll have enough. So just randomly started going like a twisting or like a folding over, and did it all the way around. And then I decided, oh, might as well just like fold over and go like a ribbon on the bottom, connect both parts. And then with a little bit of a leftover ribbon, I just made a tiny little bow and attached to the like a edge of like a basket, like it's supposed to belong in there. And this is what I got. What do you guys think? Is that good FFOing style to do for this? Because I knew that just the plain without anything, it kind of missing something, but I wasn't sure what. And then I saw the ribbon, and then I thought maybe I should just gather up around the edges and make it like this, because design in itself also looks like a little bit from older times, antique. And just happy that I've FFO'd it finally. It's been several months in waiting with the ribbon, and just decided after doing the other piece that I should just do this one. So what do you guys think? Would you have done the same way? Do you like how it looks? Let me know in the comments below. And next, I've decided to pull out this Lanarte Secret Stitch from 2023, first part. And if you remember my last month's video, that I did quite a few parts and I practically couldn't stop. So I had just a little bit in here and then just went all the way down. What is that? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, I think. And now it's time to do number 10, which would be just that. And it's just under 1300 stitches. I don't know if it will have yet outline backstitch like this, but it's going to be nice, beautiful, bright colors, I think. And uh, we'll see when I can stitch that. I should have about 1 day now to stitch, because now it's getting pretty late. So tomorrow I should be able to put in some stitches in here, and I might not stop with this number 10 part, but we'll continue, because number 11 is partially already done from before, and that would be like a this part. I guess it's like a wall in here. So just we'll continue then with part 11, but first I need to do this one, and we'll see how it's gonna look after all stitched up. So as you can see, I've worked more on this stitch, not stitch along, but secret cell. And I already just finished part 14, which was in this area. So there was more like a back stitching involved in this part versus bottom. Bottom is like nothing, but just had it a little bit in here. But we had like in between parts, that a part of that was done in one part in another. So we had to follow same in here and in this and in that part. So it was not bad. And I actually saw online that this as a kit now, that you can buy full one with the printed pattern. It's called now Holly Jolly Amaryllis by Marjolaine Bastien. So Holly Jolly Amaryllis, that's what it is. So the flower petal, that's the main part of that. And there's like a Christmassy berries in here and flowers. So if you're interested in this design, you could get it. But just you can know that the size is pretty big and a stitch on 27 count. So this is where I'm gonna leave it, and I have 3 more parts to do, and from my approximate calculations, it's about 5,000 stitches still left. So 3 parts, 5,000 stitches. So maybe at least sometime in November it should be done, if I'm not gonna sit on that in October. So a little bit more update in the life. Last was it last weekend? We traveled to like area a little bit north of Detroit, Michigan, for the friend's son's wedding, and we stayed there a couple nights. And we the roads there is gonna was like a crazy. We had like about 4 lanes one way going, and like a limit is 70, but pretty much for locals that means minimum 70. And then you drive, and suddenly you're like in town with the traffic lights right there. So we went to the wedding, a beautiful celebration was at the church ceremony. Then we had about 3 hours in between that and reception. So everybody was invited to our friend's house for hors d'oeuvres and drinks. We chatted. And then we all went to reception. And once I found out that we're going to like Italian cultural center, I figured there's going to be pasta. And since I have a sensitivity to dairy products, and I left my dairy pills at the hotel, which is not on the way, we decided to stop at the local pharmacy to get some. And we were about the 3 minutes away from reception area. We were sitting at a light, one of those lights. And suddenly I was like looking on the phone. My husband was driving. Suddenly we hear the screech of brakes. And my husband looks up in the back view mirror and suddenly hits the gas while we're sitting there behind the cars, try to get off to the side because apparently there was a car kind of flying in and didn't realize that we had a red light. So that was like, within a couple of seconds, the guy uh, hit one lady's car and then rammed into us. Luckily, he was hitting hard on the brakes, so we didn't have our airbags popped out or anything. It's just huge dent in the middle of back of our SUV. So we were kind of shook up a bit. And while we were waiting, we were off to the side there. And while we were waiting, all three cars for a police to arrive. And we keep hearing more squeals of brakes. And I thought I would also watch some more crashes. But apparently, Michigan State is what they call no fault states, which means that pretty much everybody's insurance deals with their own cars. So, yeah, that we were very unhappy about all of that because car was drivable, but we had to like on the way home we had to put the luggage from inside of the car because we figured out we're not gonna be able to close the back of a car if we try to even pry open. So what the no fault means, if you never heard of it, is the person who caused the crash insurance company is not paying for your car to fix. So when we came home, we started dealing with our insurance company, which means we're also paying deductible, which for us is $500. So that's, we didn't cause the crash. We tried to avoid it, and we're still paying out of our pocket money, and our insurance is paying for the rest of it. So yeah, and on the way home, we were almost hit several more times. Apparently, in that area, you have to drive defensively, and cars were just flying and like going in between cars. So I'm like, we're not moving in this kind of area at all. But I warned called one of our friends at the reception, said we're going to be late. We were in the crash, and we just enjoyed our life at the ceremony, at the reception, and food was really delicious actually. With that guy and the lady, while we're waiting, I said, we're going into this place, for a reception. I mean, that's literally 3 minutes away. And they had a very good opinion of that place, like delicious food. So I knew the food will be great, and it was great. So we had a good time. We chatted a lot at the party, and decided to go to the store to get dash cam micro SD cards at the store. And even in the parking lot, we were almost again rear-ended by a car that was pulling out at the same time that we were, and they were not paying attention. So yeah, definitely a lot of bumped up and scratched up and damaged cars in there because everybody has to pay for their own car fixing. So there's more work to be done, and our insurance, of course, went up because we had to do the renewal for the next year. So luckily, all went well. I had slight headache, but that was like it. Let's see what else. Um, so then I came home. I did some more stitching and usual kids' school, and I also, one of my stitcher friends had extra thread of this black coffee. If you remember, for my Suffrage piece, I needed this thread for 50 stitches. So it's good to have a local stitcher friends that I could get a thread from as the extra. Oh, by the way, in that Michigan area, I we had like a ceremony was supposed to be at 2 o'clock, so I figured I'll check out if there's any local stitcher shop like we did back in New York State. And there was like about 20-25 minutes away, was listed online that there's this shop, and she had some older stuff. It's not huge selection, and she was supposed to open up at 10 o'clock that morning. So I wanted to be there at 10, so like give myself like an hour and a half maximum to look around and still come back, drive back to get ready for the wedding. And when we're at 10 o'clock in the area, we're looking, it's like, that's residential area, houses. So the number of the building was actual house. And because it was 10 o'clock, I tried to call and the number was disconnected, even though online it's that's what it says. So I was kind of very disappointed that the information there is not changed. If she was either she was selling only online or what, but she should have also notified like a Google and other listed places that she doesn't have a physical store. So we drove, half hour almost away for nothing, just because I wanted to be there at the opening, since we decided not to meet up with the friends in the morning. So it was kind of, I know you're supposed to like check out ahead of time, but since we decided not to meet up with the friends before the ceremony, so that was kind of on the fly deal, but was a little disappointing. But what can you do, right? Those stitcher stores pop up and disappear very quickly. And I actually went on eBay and I purchased a couple more kits by Lanarte. So that's on the way here. And I'll show you when I get them. And let's see. So this is going to be waiting for the next month. I'm going to start rolling it up because the next part goes like here. I just did a tiny bit of the part 15 in that area. So I'm going to hide all of this part and roll it up in the empty spots. And one more piece left to grab and stitch. So let me pull that out. If you watch my previous videos, I'm sure you can guess what that is. So I have about 3 good days to stitch on my Ghost Girl. As you can see, I rolled up the top portion that's been stitched and have more space now to do in here. And this is what she's looking. So you can kind of see the bottom of the Ghost Girl face, and the whole head of the girl is all hiding. So we're starting new row, which I thought I might have to do only at the beginning of next year. So that's great. I'm a little bit ahead of my plans. So just gonna be a little bit more of the background, and then we'll continue with her dress here, like flowy dress, and we'll see how it turns out. Because I thought one row would be like a full row of this width would be for 3 years. And again, stitching this on a 25 count Lucas fabric, and I'm doing that in a half stitch. So hopefully this will shrink more and will be less seen all the parts in here of the fabric, which camera always shows a bit more through than real eye can see. So I'm going to start kind of boring stuff. I don't know how much I'll be able to stitch, but I'll try to stitch it. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm excited to start her again on the next fresh row and continue to grow. And September month is all gone and we kicking in October when it's getting colder. But it did not take my excitement away, joy from stitching on this piece at the very end of this month. And as you can see, I've done a small chunk, well, comparing to the whole piece, it's not a lot, but I did more than 5%, so which is great. And as you can see, I'm not marking my fabric where is what. I just wrote like a numbers quickly on a piece of paper. And I also marked the middle where it would be horizontally 50% done. So maybe I should get it done next year. And by my quick calculations, because I did not have to roll up to like here, the frame, so perhaps this row I would be able to finish by the end of 2027. So in 2 years, I'm expecting this row to be all finished up. If I do that every month, for approximately 4,500 stitches, and we'll see how it goes. But you can already kind of tell that it's darker lines going in here, so that's gonna be way more in here, and it will be Ghost Girls hair flowing. Like this one is just way more bigger, so that's what it is. All those wavy hair flowing will be all over the bottom part here. So it seemed like I was doing like maybe 1 or 2 colors, but actually there it was way more splattered. And as you can see, there's like I'm playing in some parts like a checkers in here, and again there's some pattern is not cleaned up, which means there could be a bunch of like a singles in the middle of like a area that you wouldn't know that it was a single stitch. So sometimes rarely, like in out of like 1,000, I might have 2 of those kind of singles that I just stitch with the same thread number as right next to it, and you wouldn't know unless it's like going on like this line that you would definitely would need something like a darker to fill in here to continuing instead of like a something lighter. So this is where I'm gonna leave at the September, because if you remember, this was my plan to start the next year, and now I have a few months of this year left to continue stitching. And actually I would love to continue stitching in the beginning of October, but my other big projects also are waiting to work done. So let's review my month of September. It was full of things. So first of all, I worked stitch-wise on 6 different projects. 2 of them, Touching Autumn Sky and Mermaid Berry, just the berry part, I finished. And also Secret Secret part of Lanarte, which is now called Holly Jolly Amarillis. I finished 4 parts and 3 more left to do. And should be easy to do in the next few months. And was working on several of those big parts of stitching, and I'm very happy that I did not spread out to even more projects. This way I could put the chunks in some of them. Let's see, life-wise, traveled about 1,000 miles to New York State to drop off one kid at the college. Then a couple of weeks later went to Michigan State, which is about maybe like 9 hours. And for the wedding, got hit by a car, and been working with insurance company because apparently even though the guy lives in the state where there's no fault, he also turned out that didn't have insurance. So we paid out of our pocket deductible, and the insurance company covering that for us. Plus, we're gonna get a rental car because who knows how long this car will be in the shop. And we also gonna have with the local stitchers, first time ever, I think in the whole area, like a stitch piece display at the library, and we'll have it for next 3 months. So I'm prepping, figure out what to do, and like what to print, how to possibly lay out, and of course ladies will be helping that. So we'll be doing that tomorrow, October 1st. And let's see, so that's it. The kid that's left at home, she's all over different shows, groups, and we have to drive early in school sometimes, or pick her up late from school. So I definitely we need 2 cars. So let's see, that's it, and I think we're gonna meet up with this ghost girl or girl ghost next month. So I'm hoping you enjoyed watching my progress, my video, and share your thoughts about the projects, or like no fault states for driving, and anything else. I'm kind of behind on answering all the comments, but I see them. Thank you very much for all those that come and watch me all the time, and leave a like even a flower or like thumbs up in the comments too. I really appreciate it. It makes me smile when I see that. And hope I will meet again in the next month. Until then, stay healthy, have enough time to do your hobbies, and let's be nice to each other. Until next time, this was Jurgita saying